Hello friends, we are back with another video. In this video we are going to discuss about round robin scheduling algorithm. Now in this particular algorithm, each process is given a time limit for execution. So as you can see here, we have written time quantum equals 2. That means although a process is given a chance for execution, it is not allowed to execute completely until and unless it requires more time than the given time quantum. So if the process requires burst time of 4 and the time quantum given is 2, the process has to be executed in two parts. First considering 2 time units, and nextly the remaining 2 time units. So this particular algorithm takes care of the criteria of fairness, which we had already discussed in our first video. Here fairness means every process gets equal chance of execution and they are not kept pending or delaying their execution. So let's get started with problem. This is the problem given to us. We have arrival time and the burst time given. So first thing that you need to see when a question is given is what is the time quantum given to you. Now in the given question is just 2, so we have to allocate each process a fixed size of 2 if its burst time is greater than 2. If its burst time is less than 2, then we have to allocate how much time the process requires, right? So we'll start here with the arrival time 0. Okay, so arrival time 0, I will just place here process P1 and it requires burst time of 4, but we can allocate only 2, so I will just minus 2 from it and write here 2 and allocate the required or the given 2 time units. The next process we have in the queue is P2, so I'll just place P2 here and the burst time required by it is 5, so it will be 5 minus 2, that is remaining will be 3, and here since we are allocating 2, it will be 2 plus 2, 4. Next in the queue is P3. Now P3's burst time is 2 and the time quantum is also 2, so P3 will be executed completely in the first slot itself. So here it becomes 4 plus 2, that's 6, right? Next one that we have here is P4. Okay, so in P4 we have the burst time required by it is 1, so it requires less than the given time quantum, so we have to allocate that 1 to P4, so it becomes 6 plus 1, that's 7. The next one that we have here in the queue is P5. So P5's burst time is 6, so 6 minus 2 will be 4 still pending, and here it will be 7 plus 2, so it will be 9. The next in the queue is P6, so I'll just place P6 here. P6 requires 3, so we have to minus 2 from it, and that is 1, so here it will be 9 plus 2, that's 11. The next one, since all the processes are over, since it says round robin, we have to go back to the first process in the queue. So P1 is still in the queue, so P1 is having burst time 2, so I should allocate that and finish the execution of process P1. So 11 plus 2 is 13. Right, the next one that we have in the queue is P2, so I'll just place P2 over here. It's 3, so still we need to do it again because still one burst time is remaining, so 13 plus 2 is 15. The next one that we have is P3 is over, P4 is over, so we have to go with P5. It's 4, so minus 2 is still pending, that is 2, so I'll just write here P4 and here it's 17. And the P6 is 1, so we don't have to give it complete 2 time quantum, it just requires 1, so we'll just allocate 1 to it, that is P6. Right, so this is 18. Okay, so the next one we have still in the queue is P2 and it just requires 1, so it is 18 plus 1, that's 19. Right, so this becomes 0. And the next one that we have is the last one, that is P5, so that requires 2 still, so I'll just make it 0 because we have finished with the execution, so this becomes 21. right? So that's your Gantt chart. You should be careful while drawing it, because it seems very easy, but when we do it we might miss some things, and calculations might be little wrong. So next we will draw the completion time from this. So as we all know how to do it, we have to just go from right hand side and check where the P1 has finished, because in this particular algorithm each process takes different time slots to finish it. They are finishing the execution in parts, so we have to see the last appearance of P1. So for that we will just start from right hand side and check where is P1 here. So that is the last appearance of P1, so that is here, that is 13. So I'll just write 13 for P1. P2 is here, so that is 19. P3, I think it has finished very early, so that's here, that's 6. P4 is here, that's 17. P5 is here at the end, that's 21. And P6, it's here, that's 18. Right, next we have turnaround time, and we know turnaround time is completion time minus the arrival time. So completion time is 13 minus 0 is here 13. Next is 19 minus 1, this minus this is 18. 6 minus 2 is 4. 17 minus 3, 14. So here we have next is 21 minus 4, that's 17. 18 minus 6 is 12. Okay, next we have waiting time. Waiting time is turnaround time minus your burst time, so that is your turnaround time minus your burst time. So 13 minus 4 we should do. That's your 9. Next we have 18 minus 5, that's your 13. 4 minus 2 is 2. 14 minus 1 is 13. 17 minus 6 is 11. Is 9. 12 minus 3. So that's your waiting time and that's your turnaround time. So by now everyone knows how to calculate the average turnaround time and average waiting time. So you have to just sum this up. 13 plus 18 plus 4 plus 14 plus 17 plus 12, everything divided by, we should be doing 6 because there are 6 processes, and average waiting time would be 9 plus 13 plus 2 plus 13 plus 11 plus 9, everything divided by again 6. That's your average waiting time. So if you want me to get the answer, just give me a minute because I've not calculated it. 13 plus 18 plus So we are starting with the next problem now. In the next problem we have here it's given, its time quantum which is given is 4 and there is no arrival time that has been given. So as we have already discussed, when arrival time is not given, we have to consider it to be 0 and all the processes have arrived. So starting with 0, we'll start with the process P1. time quantum is 4 and the burst time is 11, so it should be 11 minus 4, that's your 7, and here it will be just 4, right? Next we have is P2. In P2 we have burst time is 7 and quantum is 4, so 7 minus 4 we have 3, that's remaining burst time. So here it will be 4 plus 4, that's 8. Next we have is P3. P3 burst time is 15, so 15 minus 4 it will be 11, and here it will be 8 plus 4, 12. And lastly we have P4, so it should be P4 that should be placed here, and its required burst time is 4 and time quantum is also 4, so this becomes 0, so this becomes here 16, right? So the next process that will be in the queue will be going back round to the first process, that's your P1. So P1 is still pending, so I'll place P1 over here, and burst time is 7, so 7 minus 4 will be still 3 remaining, so 14 plus 4 will be 20. Next we have is P2. P2's requirement is 3 but quantum is 4, so we will allocate entire P2 over here, and it should be just allocation would be only for the 3 time units, that's 23. The next one that we have is P3. So P3 is 11 is the requirement, so 11 minus 4 will be 7, so 23 plus 4 would be 27. So the next process P4 has already finished, so again we should be going back, and P1 is also still pending, so I'll just place here P1, and it is 3 is the requirement, so we will be allocating the process entirely, so 27 plus 3 will be 30. And the next one that is pending is P3. Now since there are no other processes that are pending, so we can allocate entirely P3 whatever it requires. So rather than dividing it, or even if we divide or even if we don't divide, ultimately the calculations will be same, so it will be P3 only, so that is 30. For showing you can show here, so 30, so it will be 34, so still here pending will be 3, and finally you will be allocating those 3 again for P3 only, so it should be P3 here, and 34 plus 3 will be 37, right? So that's your Gantt chart. Now it is, I think it should be easy for drawing the table also. So completion time for P1 is 4, no, yes, you have to see it from the right hand side. So from here right hand side, P1 has finished at 30, so completion time is 30. P2 has finished at here, that's 23. P3 has finished at 37, and P4 has finished at 16, right? So the turnaround time in this case will be whatever is your completion time, same, because there is no arrival time given, so I'll just place the same values, and the waiting time will be a turnaround time minus your burst time, so this is 30 minus 11, that's 19, 16, that's 22, that's your 12, right? So average turnaround time, average waiting time is a homework for you people. Please do solve it, and if any doubts, do comment and do subscribe my channel. Thank you.